What's up, you guys? It's another episode of Damn Right I Got Knives here. And yeah, we're just going to be doing an interview here soon with Dave from DCB. And going to be talking to him about his knives. All right, let's get him in here. What's up, Dave? Let's get you in here, homie. Oh, are you there?
We're loading. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good, good. How you doing tonight? All right?
I'm doing right. Thank you for hopping on here.
Well, thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to it.
What is that hat, Ben? Is that like a DCB hat? Or is
No, it's Red Sox.
Oh, I thought I saw a C and a B somehow in there. I was like, you got to take that.
I got a lot of designs I've been working on. I'm going to come up with some new swag soon. I got a few good ideas.
That is one of my topics, is your awesome font, man. Old English, you know. It's like
the
DCB font is like so classic and good.
Right. Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things when I first saw your knives, I was like, ooh, I like that font.
Yeah, I'm just horrible at computers, and it's one of those ones that all the programs have Old English, so I went with it.
Why not?
Yep.
It works.
Yeah.
So it's like 9 o'clock for you right now, right?
Yeah. I gotta get up at the crack of dawn too. So.
Oh shit! I appreciate you.
Yeah. It's all right. I usually go to bed in a couple hours, anyways. But.
Yeah, I go to bed late and wake up early as well.
Yeah. What do you do for work? What do you work?
Well, I own a shop, so I own a knife shop. Knives, records. My wife does clothing there, but we also manage. What's up, Nick? We also manage a hotel and a little bit owners of a boutique hotel, and then my shop is at the foot of that. So
nice.
We sell records. I do turntables and repairs. But then I started collecting so many knives. I said, shit, maybe I should start trying to sell knives in my shop.
Might as well. You got the storefront.
And now I'm selling a shit ton of knives and loving it, selling what I like.
Dude, that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's not a business as much as it is a passion. So it's kind of cool that I kind of can do these things because I'd be doing them anyway. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, things you're passionate about always end up doing a little better in the business world. If it really, if it's more than just money, those are the guys that seem to make it work,
Yeah, because you actually want to know about what you're doing and care about it rather than just like not giving a shit what you're selling to somebody.
Right.
Cheers, though.
Salud.
Salute.
Get my cream soda.
Cream soda. Is that like a Dr. Pepper cream soda or something?
Yeah, Dr. Pepper cream soda. That's all that was left.
Yeah.
I'm a little dry.
I'm drinking a Modelo in a glass.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I was writing the questions for this, and it kind of I realized like how many questions I have for you is kind of like a lot. So
all right.
Hopefully a lot of them will get answered as we go. So, anyway, so we'll hop right in. Thank you guys for whoever's watching out there. And, I started doing these live things just because I was curious about the makers and the flippers and the people involved, because I just find it interesting, and it kind of related to my YouTube channel. And so I super appreciate you being here to geek out on this stuff with me.
Dude, I appreciate you having me on, man. Awesome. I check out every time I see you have one up, I check it out.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So how did you get into knives? At what age? Tell us a little bit of the early part of this story for you.
The earliest part was when I was a kid. Way back, let's say late 80s, early 90s, a lot of the Balisongs actually started to get big. I was at a point where I was too young to have one. And, I was loving the action movies as a kid. And I had a lot of toy guns, plastic, just toys. And my mother had bought me a butterfly knife, but it was plastic. It wasn't a trainer. There was no such thing as a half decent. Well, I guess there was 4Xs back then, but it wasn't trainers everywhere like now. It was a toy. You really couldn't flip it. You could, double rollovers and latch drops are about all you could do. But I was a little kid and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Carried it with me everywhere at like 7, 8 years old. You know what I mean? And I don't know, something about it. I've always, as soon as I was old enough to go to flea markets and get the pieces of shit, I was doing that, you know, off and on my whole life. But something I've always had interest in.
Nice. Okay.
To some degree, you know, life throws a lot of curveballs at you, but.
And were you collecting, and have you ever been a collector, like collected a lot? Were you collecting and flipping before you got into like making, or the idea?
Yeah, all of the above. I was always been a collector. You know, low budget, cheesy collections. Like I said, flea market, balisongs, and everything. Fixed blades, out the fronts, switches, just about everything. If it's a nice design, if I think it looks cool, if I like it, then you know what I mean. I'm not biased. I'm not an only balisong guy. That's basically my heart, my passion. I've been into that the most for the longest, but I still appreciate nice work is nice work. You know, some of the makers out there are just killing it with all kinds of knives. You know, even balisongs, I got a lot of them that I really like that I'd say are probably not the best flipping balisong, but I love it anyways. You know, I can appreciate the craftsmanship and the design. And yeah, it might not be the ultimate flipper. I still, you know, can appreciate them if it's a well-built, nice, you know, design.
Yeah, pocket knives and
all of the above.
Yeah, I'm into throwing knives. Those are fun.
Yeah, I had a little throwing knife phase. I still got a pile of them somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, did you start with mod work, like doing?
Yeah, it got to the point when I started found social media and say, hey, I'm not the only knucklehead, you know, cutting myself every day. There's other people out here, and I started seeing what people were doing, and I was interested in getting some of my knives modified, and I'm, you know, looking for people to do the work and having a little trouble, and then the prices I was getting, some of the guys, I don't want to say no names, but they wanted more money than what the knife cost, and I'm like, that's, you know, I'm not spending. So I got a power source to do my own ammo, and just started to mess with it, and it, you know, it wasn't that hard. I mean, it was basically pretty easy, something I could figure out, and I'd post in pictures and people saying, hey, will you do mine? And it's just as a favor. People were sending me their knives to do, and it, you know, from there, I've always been good with my hands, good at fixing things, figuring out best way to do certain things comes kind of in way my mind thinks. I can always look at something and see where it's what could be better, you know, what changes would improve it, and that always come really easy to me. So I just started messing with them, you know, flipping in mind. I wanted to make them, you know, little things like rounding the ends of the handles, so when you're fanning, they're not that sharp edges. That bothers me. So many great balisongs have really sharp ends of the handles, and it's just uncomfortable. Little things like that, and it just progressed. Taught myself step by step each thing. Everything I know now was other knife makers aren't really receptive. You can't really ask too many questions. Very few guys will tell you even the basics if you ask. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it all started with the mod work. Did that for a long time.
And then you got into eventually making them and deciding probably to at some point, like, why don't I make a whole knife or a whole balisong? Was it a balisong first or a fixed blade?
Yeah, I think I made a few fixed blades. I did a friction folder. I did a few little, just experimenting again, you know, not just trying to make a knife for myself. You know what I mean? That's where it all started, you know. Right. And it got to the point where my fixed blades, I kept making myself one, and then somebody would want to buy it, and then end up selling it and make myself another one. And somebody had to have it and making me offers I can't say no to. So it progressed that way. That's pretty basically how I started, you know, making them for sale. You know, people were buying my own personal knives. So I kept making more.
Right. And then anybody you learned from, or how did you learn or did you have influencers? I'm sure you had many people influence.
Oh yeah, so many great makers out there, and there are a bunch of guys that you know, you can talk to. Once you get to a certain level and people, you know, appreciate what you're doing, they don't feel like they're, you know, giving all the secrets away by, you know, having it. Now at this point I can talk to any maker, and they're pretty I'll give them tips on how I do certain things and how I get around some of the harder parts of the builds and things that I found that made it a lot easier for me. There's a bunch of guys that have been really, really great when it comes to sharing info. I talk to Stitch all the time. Ryan's my boy, and every time I got something, he's got a ton of knowledge. Every time I got a question, hey, what's the best thing to use for this? Just trying to figure out which acid would work the best, or what does he use when he does that. He's really great about, he doesn't hoard the information.
Right.
And he's a good dude. I've known him for a while, so that's an easy one. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I was going to say, do you have like people you hang out around with you in your neck of the woods that maybe either they're flippers or collectors or makers that are around you? And do you work alone only?
Yeah, I work alone. Not too many people. I grew up right outside of Boston, a small, medium-sized city, Lynn, right out Lynn, Mass, and in that area, I mean, it wasn't really too many people there. I've been here. I'm up in Maine now, and I've been up here for a few years now. I say right around 3 years, and up here it's a little different. Everybody's hunters, and everybody wants a Skinner or a hunting knife, and I'm not really into Skinners and hunting knives. I want to make nice knives that I want to make higher end stuff that you don't want to ruin. You know what I mean? But yeah,
unless you're putting it over concrete, of course.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do that, and to each his own. But man, that irks the shit out of me. I got knives that I've had forever that I flip them over a bed. You know what I mean? If I got an expensive knife, I don't destroy it.
Right.
That's just me. But to each his own.
And did I hear this right, that you have a day job too, and then you come home and work and make knives as well?
Yes, sir. I work for the government. I'm a submarine technician. I work for the Navy Yard, so.
That's
nuclear powered subs during the day, and then I'll play with my knives all night and all weekend. So I'm a busy guy, but
yeah, it sounds like it. Is there elements to that work that to you relate, or not at all?
It's not really. I mean, there's a lot. We do a lot there. I mean, there's a lot of different shops, and there's so many things that so many different trades balled into that shipyard. But I mean, what I'm doing now, not really. I mean, making product that's got to be held at a high level, that has to be perfect. So that's kind of something that has been good for me, because I'm already meticulous with my stuff. I want everything to be perfect, and instead of somebody saying hurry up, they're like, all right, this got to be perfect, so. But other than that, there's not too much to relate.
I bet some of your coworkers, when they realize what you do, they go, fuck, that's badass.
Yeah, a lot of people want, everybody says, give me one, you know what I mean? I'm like, right, you don't understand, like, what, you don't understand how much stock went into this one knife, how much I come out of my pocket for this one knife. You're saying well, is it so expensive? I'm just like, dude, you're not a knife guy. I'm not even want to sell you a knife.
People think they should cost $24. Like
that's it. I can go to Walmart and get one. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, dude, go to Walmart, get your shit.
They think you're ripping them off. They're like,
yeah, that's how a lot of people understand. A lot of people appreciate it and a little taken back. But then I show them my, my Instagram and my Facebook, and they like, oh, I see. Yeah, that's, a lot of people are receptive of it. A lot of people like it.
Do you still have the first knife that you made?
Ooh, I'm gonna say no. No, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't think I have any of the early ones. Man, I think they're all gone.
And then, can you tell us about how, let's say, like we'll talk about mine in a moment, but I have the Gen 1. But can you tell us how the knives have progressed over time? And like, I know this is getting into probably a lot larger thing, which is totally fine if we go ahead and go there, because you mentioned about the process and different things that you feel. So I guess my question is, how have your designs progressed? What have you found along the way that work? What makes your knife as awesome as it is? And yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say the first couple of years, I've come a long way. I mean, just with the Genesis, what I was doing at the beginning and what I'm doing now, Granted, one might think they're small changes and they look very similar. I mean, I tried I shouldn't say every, but I tried so many different things, man. Like it just, the overall design, I put years worth of time and effort into what I wanted, what size I wanted, what shape, why I want this, where I want the weight, how can I get the thickness I want without making it too heavy. How can I, I put so much thought into every aspect of the knife, things that, it wasn't really, I want it to be aesthetically pleasing. I want it to be a great EDC, but at the same time, I want it to be just do everything when it comes to flipping well. And it's tough because every flipper likes different things. Guys have different things, they like. But from this point, from the beginning to now, I mean, I've tried so many different weights, drilling out the spacers, and at first I was making these little Lego block spacers that I was giving everybody with the knife. It's just a little block.
I have some. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just too. I didn't like the feel. And I mean, it didn't do the momentum base. It didn't chaplain very well. It just, why bother going through all that trouble when they feel like shit? I mean, I drill them out to the max now.
I have
the
these
spaces,
but I also have the ones you pointed out. I have.
Right.
That's what's on here now.
If you look at how much I drill them out, there's not really much space for a hole. I mean, that's the ones you got. And I mean, that's about as light as I can get them. They're smaller than most spacers and they're completely drilled out. So it's really, it's, the point I'm at now, I mean, it's as light as I can get them without having any negative adverse effects. You know what I mean? It still does. It's a well-rounded knife, does everything well.
I've seen you put the step on them a little bit now.
Yeah, I did a couple limited edition ones where I did a little mill work there. They're handmade knives again. I mean, everything I do, there's so many of them are different. Even the V1 you got versus the next V1 you pick up might feel completely different when it comes to, profiling the blades by hand. How many passes I make on each bevel with the belt grinder. I could take a little bit more off this one than that one, and I purposely tried a bunch of different things so it could evolve to what it is now. What I got now is man, I'm looking forward to the blade show this year, to everybody see what I'm, pass out the one I'm going to bring with me for people to check out and see what you guys think of how I'm doing them now.
Well, I'll get to meet you then for sure.
Yeah,
so
definitely, bro.
I'm going to be out there in Atlanta. So mine is with this thicker blade stock. Is that right?
Yes, it's what I did is I mean the thickness is kind of it's really close. It's only let me think. It's like 15/100ths of an inch. Shit. I was at it's a minute amount, but it's enough that with making the blade slightly thinner and drilling out the holes a little bit bigger, going from 1/8 inch holes to 5/32 holes, I was able to get the same balance and overall lighter knife. And I mean, it's just a bunch of things. The way I'm doing the chamfers, the way I'm rounding the ends of the handles, the thickness of the blades. It's just there's a lot of things I improved.
I really like this edge on these. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, that would be like the chamfer. Yeah,
the chamfered edge there. It's so nice. I'm curious about that too, as well. So
yeah, I like a square balisong.
Yeah.
So some tricks when you're got it between your finger, it kind of wants to roll if it's too round. When you don't want it to roll, when you're trying to get it to ladder, and you want a little bit of a square. It's my preference. A lot of guys want rounded everything, and you know what I mean.
I'm with you on that. I find it kind of amazing though when you see a slightly rounded one and they've managed a way to not make it roll as much. For instance, like the Tsunami, the way it's dialed
back. I love the Tsunami. Yeah, they did a great job. That's on just that one surface, just rounding that one surface a little bit, not making it a complete circle, round the edges, but have, like I was gonna round the handles on one, but I was just gonna round the chamfers and leave a flat spot and round it with a flat spot. And I'm thinking I could achieve the same thing and still be able to manipulate it the same way. But I mean, I got so many ideas. I just don't have the time to get them all out, man.
I really love that you use T15 too. I got to give you some props for that. I really like having that even though, you know, most tools and most things people have don't go up to T15, especially if it's a pocket torque set, but you know, you can get that pretty darn easily. And
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I give them to people. I give people a bag of one of the pivot lubes, KLP pivot lube, and I give them. I usually put in the bag. I put a couple Torx bits in there. I'm the past few nights I haven't done it, man. It's been stressful. People don't understand handmade knives, and they don't understand low tolerances. And I don't want to promote them to take the thing apart by giving them Torx bits,
right,
because you know people just don't get it. I mean, when you get the tolerances down that tight, little things like the washers, right? They're punched out. So when they punch it, it leaves a little ridge on one side of the washer. So I put that ridge side, you know, going against the inside of the handle, not against the blade. If you take it apart and do everything right and put it back together, you flip a washer over with tolerances that low, that could be enough to make it bind. Now, people could say, oh, it's the bushing's undersized, but there's so much more to getting a good tune when it comes to low tolerance balisongs. The guys just don't understand how I do it and what I'm doing. I do like to set them a little on the tight side. You know what I mean? I would rather have the thing break in a year, 2 years from now, have you be able to crank them down a little bit tighter than you need to and take up that little bit of play just because I left it with that much. You know, I mean, it's tough. Little things like Loctite or a fiber from a paper towel, or I mean, anything gets in there and you put it back together. If the tolerances are that low, it could bind on you. And I get guys, I tell them if you have any problems, send them back. They send them back, and every goddamn time, I just got to put it back together the way I had it the first time, and it's fine. And it's like, man, I've wasted my time. So now I'm going to get it right. I'm going to send it to this guy. Next time he decides to clean it and he takes it all apart to clean it, it's going to be all fucked up again. I mean, I don't have time to keep wasting. I mean, if these guys, I mean, I don't,
well,
it's
for the
frustrating.
record, I've never
It's
taken this
frustrating.
apart. I've never taken it
Dude,
apart because I've watched
dude,
your video
this is,
about it, and I said I'm not ever taking mine apart after that video.
dude, this is the first one I ever made. I never even put Loctite on this knife. I've been flipping it for like 3 years, and I've never had to turn a screw. Never. And it's perfectly fine. It's just like I mean, it's butter, dude. There's
Yeah,
nothing. I mean, it's retarded. But people just don't get it. They don't understand tight as a relative term. People tell them, oh, you should be able to put your pivots tight. If I take my pinky and my thumb and I use a little bit driver and I tighten that tight, or you take a Torx driver with a full-size screwdriver, and you're talking about couple inch pounds worth versus 50 foot-pounds of torque. I mean, you can't just say tight and not know what you're doing. They're little tiny screws. They're not designed to be cranked on really hard, man. A lot of people, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's just a lot to it. I've had it the same thing. I take them up, I tune it, right? I set the handle gaps, tune it, set the handle gaps, make sure everything's perfect. And then I take it apart, refinish it, and put it back together. Now I make sure I don't flip any washes over this bushing. Keep it in the hole, put tape around it so it can't fall out. Everything's marked. I know which one's which. Put them back together, and it's too tight. It binds. It happens sometimes, man. I mean, I had dead on, silky smooth, you know, when I put it together the first time. But I don't know. It's frustrating. The low tolerance is, even if you do nothing wrong, taking it apart and putting it back together, little glob of Loctite is enough to cause problems for you.
right.
And just, I mean, what's the solution? You know, put bigger bushings in and make sloppy balisongs. I don't want to make sloppy. I don't want to idiot proof them. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, makes sense.
Frustrating. Sorry to vent on you, man, but it's
Okay,
frustrating. Dude.
that's why we're here to talk about this. It's okay. Do you want to only make knives, or do you like having two jobs, or is your goal to kind of only be a knife maker? Or
Yeah, someday. I mean, I got a good job. I got a pension. I got all that shit. You know, I got a kid to take care of, so I need insurance. And I would love to do it full time. To answer your question, man, that would be this. If I didn't have a great job and I wasn't all set up, you know what I mean, I would be on that. I'd be all about it, right? Like a while ago, I would have done it a while ago. But I mean, things are going good, and I want to keep going that way. When I retire, someday when I retire, I guess I'll do it full time then. I guess.
right, that's cool. That's good. Yeah. I just realized I missed that. Let's see. Uh, I guess I had here, what are some important factors when you're doing your build that set DCP aside from others? I guess we kind of got into that as well. I don't know if there's anything missing with that for you. You kind of talked about some, like getting those tolerances right.
Right. I mean, one thing I know I done that I haven't really ever talked to anybody that did it was back when I was modded knives. Between my collection and the knives I took into mod, I had an opportunity to, you know, work on every great balisong. You know, every design that everybody knows, you know, has a reputation for being a balisong that flips well. I cataloged them. I took overall weights, bite handle, safe handle weights, just the blade weight, thicknesses and dimensions, and you know, I tried to find something that correlated with all these great knives. So many, you know, so many great knives, and there's no cookie cutter. There's no a knife like this is going to be great and everyone's going to love it. There is no rhyme or reason to them. And I mean, I come up with a little formula that I like to keep to myself, but you know, distributing the weight and weight of the blade versus the weight of the handles with what the sweet spot is, I mean, that took years of cataloging and researching and coming up with what I really liked, and you know, to come up with a way to determine what's going to be good and what I should be shooting for. I mean, I don't think guys, I talk to makers, and I don't want to say any names, but I talk to makers and they say, oh, this is the new T2, the knife coming out. And I'm like, you know what? So I measure it and they just copy the T2, or this is the new Alpha Beast, and they copy the dimensions of the Alpha Beast, and it's completely different design. So it's not going to be the same weight. It's not going to feel the same. But guys do that stuff, man. It was, I made sure I changed my design a bunch of times, my dimensions a bunch of times, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't like somebody else's knife.
I gotta say, your knife, it pretty much stands on its own. You know, there's not, you see your knife and you know it's a DCB knife. There's not other knives that it doesn't, not, I mean, sure, you got the holes in the handles, but your design is pretty unique overall.
That was the hard part, man, trying to stand alone, coming up with a design that would have the characteristics I'm looking for, the thickness, the grip, the whole length of the handle, and not be too heavy. I mean, and do something distinctive that hasn't been done. Everything's been done, man. It's difficult. It's difficult to keep something that I'd want to make that I thought would be a great knife that was original, man. That was a tough hurdle.
This point is fucking evil. it's come down on me here. One of my worst cuts, like just landing right here on and yeah, it's, I mean, and then I really love the curve there that you got going on. I know you make them more straight nowadays, right? You don't do
this. I do both. I got a recurve I'm working on right here. That's another one. That's going to be a Damascus. Nice. But I got I don't know, the straight tunnel is a little bit lighter blade, and it, in my opinion, I mean, it's apples and oranges. It's so close to the same weight, but I feel the straight tunnel is a little bit better balance, a little bit better feel, but to each his own.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great. You know,
I mean, they're wicked close to the same, man. Wicked close to the same. And you might find a straight tunnel that, you know, is a little bit heavy compared to the other straight tunnels, and a recurve that's a little bit light compared to the other recurves. And what I just said might be completely wrong. Everyone is different, man. You know, it all depends on how many passes I make. If I got how many brand new belts I use on that one knife, grinding it, you know, there's so many factors. Keeping them, I'm getting better at keeping them the same though now. I'm at a point now where I'm much better at it.
One thing you really did too that I really like is how on this it's black on the chamfers.
Right, Cerakoted. What's that? That was Justin's, right?
Yes.
You get that off, Justin? Yeah, Justin's my boys, good people. Yeah.
And then you got bronze on the inside. I mean, the colorway of this is just, I love it.
Yeah, that was a lot of work, dude, man. That was that's bronze Cerakote, black Cerakote, and bronzano on that.
Dude, I know. Yeah,
with satin flats. That's like a 5-tone, dude. That's like a 5-tone, that one. Dude, that was a lot of work, man.
Dude, I love this knife. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a one of a kind, man. Justin's my boy. He wanted something special, one of a kind, so I did a bunch of extra work to that thing, dude, just because I knew it was going to him.
I think he knew
Well,
that I was really happy to have this, so he knew it was
yeah,
going into good hands. So
yeah. Justin's good people, man. I gotta give him a call. I ain't talked to him in a while.
cool. Can you? What do you find inspiration from, design wise? If it's other makers, movies, music, what do you do things outside of making knives that inspire you to get ready to make knives and design? I mean,
Hmm.
or is it like
I mean,
family, walk your dog, or
right,
do you have like,
right. I mean, I got a lot of shit. I like getting on my Harley and going for a beat run. I got a,
okay,
she's a built bike, so she rips. So that, knocks all the bad demons out of your head. If you go for a little hold on tight and go for a rip, but not really much, especially in the winter, dude. There ain't really much I got going on. I just, especially with all this COVID shit going on, all this stay in the house, everything's closed. I'm in a new state. I'm 2 states over from where I used to live. Don't know too many people around here, and COVID happened, so pandemic. So I said, buckle down. I got a bunch of work done. I had a bunch of great, people patiently waiting. Unfortunately, like you said, I'm one guy and I work all day. So to keep pumping out, I think I'm on like my 70. I'm almost got 70 Genesis done, and
wow,
I think that's a lot for one guy on my nights and my weekends, man. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's. But the pandemic made it easy on me, man. I've been stuck in the house. Might as well work.
Right.
Yeah.
Any advice for new makers or people that are thinking about wanting to take that leap into making knives? And especially now, there's a lot of people that are getting into fabricating their own knives or saving up to buy
Yeah, it's getting big. They
CNC
got
machines.
TV shows. Yeah, TV shows like Forged in Fire and stuff like that. And a lot of people are getting bit by the bug and try out. I think I'd say was stick with it, man. Stick with it. If you try it, if you enjoy it, I mean, don't get discouraged when you mess up. You are gonna have, a pile of ruined shit for a first year. You know what I mean? It's gonna happen. Even when you get good, you mess up. You touch that belt grinder when you're going up there. If you've got the angle off by a little bit and you bump into it, that's it. It's smoked. You could be at the end of, making the last few passes and you bump into it. I mean, it happens. So, I mean, just don't give up. Stick with it. You know what I mean?
That must be
If it,
frustrating. So,
yeah, it is frustrating, but it's rewarding at the same time. I mean, just to have something in my head, I have an idea and I have it, and I draw it up, and then I take that drawing and I trace it onto a piece of steel, and then, you know what I mean, to be able to put out, you know what I mean, that was in my head. That was something I had a dream about, and I woke up in the morning and I drew that, and now I got one. You know what I mean?
that looks
It's
killer.
pretty it's pretty satisfying, man. It's pretty satisfying.
Yeah. What's next? Any new designs or anything coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of Balisong designs. I'm still trying to catch up with the people that want Genesis, so I mean, I'm not trying to fill my plate too much, but like that fixed blade I just showed you, I got 2 of them I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about trying to branch out a little bit. I think I'm gonna do a large and a medium and a large, and something if I can figure out a way to get them done relatively quickly where make KDXGs for them and pump them out relatively quick. I'd like to make a few of those, and I've posted some pictures and people have been asking, so I'd like to at least get a few done, see what happens. But I mean, I got a bunch of Balisong designs. I mean, I just still need more tools. I still need to invest. I mean, it's just with the pandemic, prices have been going crazy. My prices on everything I buy have gone up, unfortunately. And I did go up, added $100 to what I charge for my knives, but I mean, my costs have gone up almost $300 on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I might have to do something eventually. I'm hoping it will go back down. That up and down. I'm hoping to ride it out, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. I mean, hopefully I can get on another one. I'm definitely going to do it. I'm definitely going to do another Balisong, just win. That's
Right.
the tough one.
Well, that's good to know that there's ideas there.
Oh yeah, dude. I got a whole book full of them, dude. I got a pile of designs.
Okay, here's some. It almost seemed like this is where I was like, almost, what other questions do I have? And then all of a sudden, a slew of other questions came to me. So we're like at the halfway point still. Here.
Let them rip, brother. Don't be shy.
What machines do you have that you really love working with? And yeah.
I mean, I'd say the most satisfying is the belt grinder. I mean, everything else can be tedious and frustrating when you're trying to do multiples, when you're trying to profile, even just drilling holes, something as simple as drilling holes. If you got 10 knives and you got to get precision drilled holes, I mean, it's turns into work. But the belt grinder, you know, shaping steel and you know, having a nice finished product when you're done, and I mean, nice crisp lines that go the way you want them to go. And I mean, it's just it's kind of satisfying. You know, if any of them I'd say actually like using,
How are you
that
getting
would be
this
one.
hole in your blood groove?
That's all milled.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all milled out. I mean, CNC milled.
Okay.
But I mean, the actual profiling of the blade and putting the bevels, you know, the hollow bevels on either side, that's all on a belt grinder.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's awesome. I love the
Yeah,
design.
buddy.
Cool.
Thank you,
Do you
man.
have like, you know, some people have gotten in this little like discussion of handmade versus hand assembled, CNC machines versus hand ground, all this. And there's so much work that goes into these knives that I feel like just saying hand assembled is not necessarily fair half the time, because it's like there's so much that goes hand ground to, you know,
Yeah.
using a CNC machine to not, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Usually, you know what I mean, the high-end knives in the past, when I mean, for the longest time, if it wasn't somebody putting the, you know, making that blade on a belt grinder by hand, it wasn't a high-end knife. You know what I mean? That was the difference between the cheaper knives and the ones, you know, mass produced in production versus the handmade expensive knives. But all of a sudden, like you said, man, it's totally different now. I mean, there are 100% CNC milled knives that have no hand work on them, and they get more money than what I get, dude. I mean, it's like I look at these knives and they're like $300-400 more than mine, and I know it's all, you know what I mean? It's just, but if that's what they're doing, if that's what the customers want, and that's what people are willing to pay that money, knowing what it is, I mean, I don't have any problems with it. I mean, to each his own. I mean, if that's working for people and people are liking it and they want to spend their money on that, then I don't have any issues
And
with it.
so,
You know? It's a skill as well. I mean,
exactly, yeah.
machining is hard. I mean, it's not like it's cheating or it's easy. People think that, yo, your computer does everything and you just push play and it cuts it out. You know, it's somebody has to tell that computer what to do and spend hours programming it and trial and error. And I mean, it's there are good machinists and there are bad machinists, and the guys that are top of their game that are really, really good, you know, I believe they deserve to get, you know, paid for their talent, you know. But
It's a lot like people's argument of like analog versus digital. It's like, well, is the music still good? Or
right,
if you're painting on a canvas or a piece of paper, is the artist still a good artist? You know, it's like,
right.
you know, things like that, where you're getting into the details of the person's tools to that they choose to use to create their what they're working on.
Right. I mean, it was a no-no for a long time, though. Guys used to hide. They would, you know, sand the mill marks off so you couldn't tell. They put the bevels on the blade with the mill, and they would like, it was like taboo for a long time. You know what I mean? But it's definitely, I see a lot of makers doing really well, and they're doing it, and people love their work. So I mean, power to them. If that's the direction the community's going, then I don't have any issue with it. I mean, shit.
So we kind of looked at my knife here. I think we went over that. Let's see. I have my list of questions down here, so I'm just making sure.
Yeah, yeah.
We went over the T15. Any flippers you enjoy out there? I know you got Nick there, who's probably maybe still watching, but who else you? I mean, there's
I
so
mean,
many. I know it's not fair to get into like
dude,
makers.
I don't want to. Yeah, I talked to so many guys. I don't want to leave anybody out. I mean, obviously Nick's my boy. He's my captain of the DCB team, so I can't leave him out. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I kind of with being so busy, I'm not really. I'm kind of checking messages and getting off lately. I mean, I haven't really been up on it like I was. You know
Right.
what I mean? And all the OGs that I used to really look up to and appreciate their flipping. None of those guys even flip no more. They all, so many people seem to, I don't know if they're posting somewhere else or what they're doing, but so many guys just disappeared, man. All those guys that were the greats, they just, I don't see them anymore.
Living a life like babies and jobs.
Yeah, shit happens. You know what I mean? I mean, shit happens. Power to them. If they got better shit to do, then good for them. You know what I mean? If that's what's working for them. I mean, I don't know hard feelings. It's just those when I was paying more attention to it, right? Like I said, right, just answering my messages, ordering stock, working and trying to do life shit. And I mean, I have a hard time keeping up. I don't like spend much time doing anything else, But I mean, there's a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of guys I like.
All right. Here's a funny question. I wrote down, why are your knives so damn sharp?
Because I don't do it the easy way. I mean, you can put a fine belt on your belt sander and just run it by real quick and say it's sharp, or you can do them by hand.
Well, by the way, what kind of steel
I've
do
been
you
using
use
this
in
thing
these?
forever, dude. You can get the angle perfect, and I got a leather strap. I go all the way down to a leather strap, and I do each one by hand. I mean, instead of taking 10 minutes to sharpen it on the belt sander, I literally spend hours sometimes on each blade making sure that they're sharp,
Yeah. What
But
kind of
I
steel
don't
is it?
I don't take the easy way out of anything, dude. I mean, I'm a glutton for punishment. I should be making these knives in half the time I do. I mean, I spend twice as many hours on each one than I should for
What
some
steel
reason.
is this?
That's 154 cm
Okay.
stainless.
Is that what you normally use? I forgot to ask that earlier.
Yeah, that's like my go-to, man. It's takes an edge well, it holds an edge well. It's a great stainless steel, corrosion resistant, all that stuff. It's at one point was one of the best. Now they got steels that are better for kitchen knives and for cutting, and you go any hotter than 154 cm, it hits the point where the steel gets brittle. And if you have a knife that's going to be hitting the ground over and over again, you do not want to use a brittle steel. Yes, it might hold the edge a little longer, but I mean, one thing I've noticed when I was modding knives is 99% of the knives I got were purposely, dulled on purpose. So, I mean, these guys want the super steel, but then they're going to dull it on purpose. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother topic, man. But
I'm always
I like sharp knives. I flip sharp.
I'm always a little extra careful when I'm flipping this knife. Damn, it's cut me a few times where I'm like, this thing is sharp, very sharp.
I've had people ask me to not make it too sharp, and I'm like, well, I mean, I'll sharpen it and I'll put a polished cutting edge on there, but then I mean, I guess if you want to dull it down a little, you can,
I would never ask that of you.
No, dude, I'm here to make people happy. You know what I mean? If that's what you want, I get it, dude. I can't work when my hands are all cut up, dude. I mean, I just can't. I got to work with chemicals and shit. And I got big cuts on my hands. It makes it hard. So, I mean,
here's this question: what's your most recent knife purchase?
Oh,
Balisong, pocket knife, anything?
I just got the last straw. Was it last night? Yeah, I got a latchless chab. I got one of the
bastard.
S35 again, latchless Bowie chab.
I wanted one of those. Dude, it was on there at the same time, and I missed out.
Oh, dude, I was on it quick as shit, and I just checked out crazy fast. And then I look at the price; it was like $586, dude. I was like, damn. I had no idea. I just like super checked out, boom, 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 because I knew it was going to get sold out. But yeah, I guess the I think it was I'll see when it comes in. I did it quick as shit, dude, because I know how BRS drops go.
Yeah, I was trying to get I was lost on the site, and I was in the like now in stock, but it was actually down in their main things, and I couldn't.
Yeah, I did. I kept refreshing the in stock now, and they came up with the sandwich, but none of the latches popped up, and I kept refreshing. I logged out, went to the email where it showed, because I'm like, I thought they said latchless, and I seen the picture in the email, and I clicked on that and went back, and they had them in stock still. And I'm like, holy.
So you went through all that and still got one?
And still got one.
Oh my God.
The site was so
the last buyer.
Dude, the site was so messed up. What happened to you happened to me, and it happened to a lot of people. Slowed them down. But I got one. I want the kukri, man.
I
I
want the
want the
kukri too.
kukri.
That's what I
I
really.
want the latchless kukri, man. I've been trying to get a latchless kukri since the first time I seen him, and man, it's like a unicorn trying to get your hands on one.
Yeah, I got this kukri. But it's not
Oh,
a chip,
nice.
or, But I want the
Yeah.
latchless.
Yeah, I want the latchless Chad kukri. I mean, at this point, all I need is a kukri blade, and I'm good.
True. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else we got? So that was your most recent purchase. Oh, you got a Cerrone at some point. I'm a distributor for Cerrone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
work
dude.
closely with
I
David.
got this. Talk about getting cut all the time. This thing is gnarly, dude. There's like no way around that edge, man.
It's
GE
the double
is
edged
rough.
version.
Yeah, I love the style. I love the look of it. But man, that DE is I mean it because I try to get that little shoulder there, and I think, oh, I can still flip it, but your hand moves a half inch and that's it. You cut.
Yeah, he does make one with a dulled edge on one side that looks like that.
Right.
And then
In my opinion,
sharpens.
aesthetically, his DE is like the nicest looking blade. I love that, man. He does great work.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical the first couple times I messaged him. The knives I was asking about were way like double what this one cost. They're like really expensive, and I was like, holy shit, what? So I like stopped asking him. I like every time he put one up, I just figured they were $3,000 all his knives. So I didn't ask, stopped asking, and I was glad to find that he's making a more affordable one.
Yeah, I've really brought him around. I mean, I don't want to take too much credit here, but with a lot of conversation with him, getting his knives in, working with his knives at Blade Show. I'm also Italian, so speak a little Italian. My mother's even talked to him before because she speaks fluent Italian, so it's
Are you
fine.
Sicilian? You Sicilian Italian?
Yeah, Sicilian, Catania.
My paisan, I knew it. I knew
Yep.
I liked you.
So yeah, there's that relation, and I got him to do bushings. Well, not I, there was the conversation, and he finally agreed to try bushings when Lucas offered to do the bushings. And we just thought it would be a cool collab to have Squid Industries do the bushings for his bushing knives.
Oh, Squid is doing the bushings for him?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome, dude. A lot of makers have.
Sorry?
A lot of guys have trouble with bushings, man. I've seen a lot of guys struggle with them, man. They're a pain in the ass, dude. It's time consuming. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just for one knife. Sometimes I go through 6, 7 bushings just trying to get one pass with the sandpaper too much, and that thing's trash. And then you get another one. You're right there. It's a little too loose. You take a couple passes and you measure it again, and it's a little too small. And it's like, it's a pain, dude. It's a pain, but. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Lucas is great at like that, helping guys out. I mean,
yeah, for sure, man. Lucas was like, "Yeah, I'll make them. I'll do it. That'd be great." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then finally brought it to Strony. He's like, "Look, what if we did bushings like this and made it like collaboration of sorts?" And people have been loving them and really pushing Cerrone to do his best to keep the prices down. He has a couple of Balisongs that are I have 2 of them here that are $4,000 Balisongs. I don't own them, but I'm selling them for him.
Well, well, that's what I'm saying. That's like the ones I asked about, and I was like, dude, I thought I'm a Fior fan. I love my Fiors, and I figured this guy would be right up there, same type of fit and finish, quality wise.
Absolutely.
And I liked his design, so I was all about his design. It was more my style. And I mean, I was just shocked. I'm glad he came down on his prices, because like you said, after I heard four grand for one knife, I'm like, no, thank you. I mean, I got this for friggin' a lot less than that. I got 49, dude. I mean, this should be a lot more than that. I mean, that was it's like a $3,000 knife, dude, and this is like a holy grail,
Right.
Black blade with the pre-production anno, and you know what I mean. That's a diamond in the rough. Those don't come around that often,
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and that one was more than this one, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna like. I never had one in my hand.
Right.
To commit to 4 grand to a knife that I never even held before, that's a tough nut to swallow, man. You know what I mean? It's tough.
I think Cerrone's idea is to kind of find a way to please both worlds. Collectors that are extreme collectors spending lots of money, to flippers that are more used to like the $1,200 range or something. And he's doing the trainers that are like the $600 range. that
Oh,
are
that's awesome.
so he's realizing that there's, you know, how the market is changing as well, that he has to kind of adapt to certain things.
Right. It's
But
tough, man. Like I'm saying, dude. I mean, I hate doing it. I wanted to sell my knives for less money, but I mean, you do the math, and any businessman would tell me I'm an idiot. Tell me I should be charging more money. I mean, if I add up the stock and the time, I mean, it doesn't make sense to keep doing. But I just want to put one of my knives in everybody's freaking hand. You know what I mean? That's my goal. I mean, if I make money doing it, then that would be great at some point. But for
right,
now, I just want to get one in everybody's hand. You know.
nice.
But so I can see where he is on his price points. You mean you put that much time into it, you really need to be compensated, or you're a fool for doing it. You know.
He's like you. He's one guy, and he's supporting his family doing it. And he only broke away from Fior. You know, he was with Fior for what, 10 years, 15 years or something, and then started doing his own thing in 2020. So he hasn't been having his own company for that long. So it's kind of cool
Right.
what he's done in that time, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. I mean, he caught my eye right away, man. I could see Fior's style in there, dude. When I saw him, it was the first one I looked at, I'm like, wow, is that a Fior? And then I'm like, no, it's definitely not. Yeah,
And
that
he
was, I have no idea.
appreciates a lot of the makers. He appreciates you. We've had conversations about a lot of different companies, and he really, you know, he's a fan of it. You know, he's a fan of knife.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way. Like, I mean, some of these knives, like the Fior, that's not what a knife I would say, oh, that would be a great flipper. I need to get that one, you know what I mean? But like I was saying earlier, it just craftsmanship is, and you can't argue with the craftsmanship and the quality of what he's doing. I had to have one, then I had to have another one, and I'm sure I'll end up with another one at some point. But I mean,
So
love
yeah,
them all,
the
dude.
thing is, when I was first looking at DCB knives, I came across the "Don't Stop Now" Productions video.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
that I anytime I talk about your knife, I go, "Oh man, you got to watch this video," and I pull that video up because it's such a slamming video, dude. It's so
It is. They killed it, dude. I wish. Oh man, Maddie actually had a little one, and he's been preoccupied. But I got to give him a call, man. It's been a while. I
yeah,
haven't talked to Matt in a while.
such a great video, man.
Yeah, he killed it. They do some great work, man.
And then all the recent collab between Nick and Evan for
Yeah, they
that's a
killed it, dude.
collab. I love that. I like how they walk
Yeah,
off it. Nice job.
yeah, both of them. Those guys are great, man. Good.
Let's see. Oh yeah, and then here's the question for me: how the hell can I get back on your books, man?
That's the question. That is the question. I'm trying to get away from books, man. I'm trying to get away
Oh,
from.
that's why
I'm trying to get away from doing lists. I mean, it's messing with my creativity, man. Having people saying, I want this like this, and ideas that I don't agree with that I normally wouldn't do. And I mean, it's becoming too much of a job having a list. I'm doing this because I enjoy it and because I want to progress. And I mean, the list is tough. To be honest with you, maybe it's selfish of me, but I want to make the knives the way I think they should be
that's
made.
totally reasonable. Make
And
them.
then have people, if whoever wants to buy that knife that way, that's how I would like to do it. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I I've been not working off a list and trying to bang out the last couple people from the first list, but I got guys that message me over and over, and when somebody that was on the list isn't ready when I have one finished, I just message whoever the last guy is that's been hitting me up, because I forget. I get messaged by so many people every day. I can't remember who messaged me 3 months ago. I mean, it's just tough. So I tell everybody, I say, be relentless. Say, hey, how's it looking? You got any ready for me? If I say, message me back in, after you see me finish 2 or 3 more, remind me. The guys that remind me, that message me again and say, hey, I'm still interested, man. Let me know if you're gonna. Those are the guys I say, oh shit, I remember, I forgot that guy. Let me get him one right away. Let me do whatever I can to get this guy one. He's been waiting for a while. And those are the guys that get one. I know it's a
I
shitty way
actually
to do it.
appreciate that. I mean, you're not making things to request as much, because I guess it's like again, to talk about music, it's like an artist makes a song that somebody's not over their shoulder telling them how to write a song.
Yeah, it's
And
frustrating, man. A lot of people want a completely different blade shape, and so much of the design and why it works is how I designed it. The blade just has so, to be able to use get a blade that light with a piece of steel that thick, it was a challenge. That's why I do a high hollow bevel. That's why I have the hole in the blood groove going the whole way. Without that stuff, you don't have the thick mass, you know, weight right in the center where the pivots are without having a blade that's too heavy. I've tried Weehawk and other, which should be light blades, and they're way heavier than my blade. You know what I mean? It's a big difference. Even with bevels all over the place, trying to make another design light. I mean, it's tough. It totally changes the knife if I do stuff like that. Which I mean, I know people want to get creative and they have their own ideas. But I mean, I just need to do what I'm doing. I got reasons why I do everything. I'm not trying to be mean to people by not wanting to do what their idea. But I mean, it's just not what I'm looking. I'm not looking for new ideas. I got a ton.
I don't think you come off mean at all, man. I think it's
I try not to, man. I try to answer all the messages. Even when people ask me crazy questions, I answer them. And, you know.
No, it seems genuine enough to me, man, for sure. You know,
Right.
it's you know. It's a cool thing to, you know, appreciate somebody's work. So you don't want to like disrupt that too much. You know, you kind of want to go in there and appreciate the work. And if you want to own one of their pieces, then you kind of got to go with how they're working.
Right. I'm trying to do one of a kinds, trying to keep everyone a little bit different, a little bit custom. Even like this one I did for myself. You know what I mean? It's pretty basic satin. But I dressed up the pivots and I did just a little splash of anno on the spacers, but it's basically satin, you know what I mean? But every single one I do, I've done a bunch of satin ones and they're all got their own, you can tell by looking at them, okay, that's this one, that's that one. I mean, I try to do everyone a little bit different, but I'm running out of combinations.
What's the big differences, would you say, when it comes to, say, a V1 to a V2?
Basically, the biggest difference is well, the way I'm setting the handle gaps now, the thickness of the blade stock, the way I round the chamfer, the ends of the handles, rounding the hard. I'm using different rounded hardware instead of the dressy for a while I was using dressy ones like you got, or kind of square pivot screws. I got rounded polished pivot screws now. Basically, the way I drill them out, the way I drill out the spacers, you know, skeletonize, make the spacers a little lighter to accommodate the lighter blade. I mean, there's a lot of changes. Granted, you know, when I say a little thinner, it's a tiny bit thinner. When I say a little lighter, it's a tiny bit lighter. I mean,
Small changes.
Everything is small changes. Yeah, small changes that basically the same. You know what I mean? But same feel overall, but a little bit improved, a little bit crisper, a little bit cleaner. In my opinion.
There a 1.5, like where you were transitioning and kind of getting into this?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I was tried a few different things, and I had somebody. Let me guess. They wanted me to do the hand. I already had the blade done in the 1.0 style, but they wanted me to do the handles the way I do them on the 2.0. So it ended up being a 1.5, and there was a few different combinations. But I did a bunch of one-offs like that. Like I tried this, I tried that. Somebody wanted a little bit more weight in the spaces, or a little bit less weight. So I just tried a bunch of different things, you know. But I all I got to go with is go off of what I like, what I think, what I feel. You know, everybody has their own likes and the things they like when it comes to weight and balance. And you know, I definitely have a strong opinion about what I think is best, but not everybody agrees with that. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of it. You know, people can set them up the way they want it set up. You know what I mean? If somebody was hell bent on, you know what I mean, super light spacers, I can do that. I mean, if somebody's hell bent on super heavy spacers, I mean, I can do that. I mean, I'll urge them to try it the way I set it up before they change anything. But you know what I mean? If they still want to change, and a lot of guys after they change it, they want to go back. You know what I mean? Yeah, you were right. You know, but it's tough. It's tough, man. You know, everybody's an individual.
Anything you want to add here? Q&A from the people watching. What's up?
Yeah. I mean, that works, man. That works. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, as long as the people in the community want to keep buying my knives and want to support, show me love and support and keep me going. I want to get a knife in everybody's hand that wants one. I know I've dropped the ball, you know, forgotten about this person or that person, or people have a name on their Instagram and I write it down so I don't forget them. And then I go to look that up and that's not their Instagram name. That's just the name that pops up when they message me. But their Instagram name is completely different. So I lose touch and I can't find this guy. And I'm sure somebody's mad about this or that. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I try to stay on it. I mean, it's I want to give everybody a knife. I want to put one in everybody's hand, and hopefully I can keep doing it for a while.
Well, man, your work is super awesome to me, and I'm really stoked to have mine. And I want to get one at some point because I like it.
Yeah, I can't wait till you try one of the new ones, man. That was like one of the first recurves. That was way back. That one, dude. That was
keep
the
this
beginning
one.
of it.
I'm definitely going to be one of those people who bug you now. You said I could bug
Dude, do it. I'm telling you, dude. Hit me up. I'll get you one. I got 3 blades I grinded today. I got a recurve and 3 straight tanos that I grinded today, dude. I'm on it. I got handles almost done, ready to punch out and start sanding and shaping. I'm on it, dude. I'm on it.
Awesome.
I'm on that shit.
How about we take some questions from some of the people watching right now? Let's see what
definitely, man.
ask. So if anybody wants to throw up questions, I'll start reading anything that comes up, not anything from the past threads. So, okay, somebody says they're going to bother you. They need one.
That's it, man. That squeaky wheel gets the oil, bro.
Yeah.
Like that one? You see that one yet?
You got it. Do you know Dirty D? He's
I know Dirty D.
Yeah, man. Dirty. I can't believe he doesn't have a DC. He needs to get a DCB.
Yeah, he does.
Is that the lizard Damascus on that?
Dragon skin Damascus on black Damascus handles. A little hard to see.
That's that recent one you did, huh?
Yeah. This is going to be at the Blade Show with me. You can cut yourself with that, dude.
He said, when did you make your first volley?
Oh, shit. The first shit kicker back in the day, I mean, maybe probably 10 years ago, maybe, something like that, 15. It was a piece of shit. It was a no tool having. All I had was a drill that a hand drill, and I mean, it was trash, but I'm going to say probably 15 years ago. Something like that.
Are you going to have volleys at Blade Show for sale? Or are you just showing?
I'm not getting a table. I want to meet and greet. I want to go there. I want to enjoy the show. I don't want to be stuck at a table. I don't have enough time and capital to stock a table. So, I mean, brown bagging is definitely something that's frowned upon. I mean, if you don't have a table, technically, you're not supposed to sell anything. They could ban you for life. That being said, I'll probably sell a few anyways. But if I have a couple with me and you see me after the show or whatever, or somewhere else, you know what I mean? I try to bring a couple with me for the select few that want to buy them. But I mean, I'm definitely going to have some to people to try out. I'm going to try to have some swag there with me too.
Cool.
So,
is Nick going to be in the comp flipping one of your knives, or you think a BRS?
He better be. He better be in the comp. He better make it to the damn show. He didn't make it last year. Yeah, shit came up last.
Actually, I was going to ask this question too that Dirty D is asking. How old are you?
How old do I look, dude?
You look, I'm going to guess 42.
Oh, damn. You're pretty close, dude. You're pretty close. Right around there. Right around that ballpark.
I'm 51, so
Holy shit.
I'm young. I'm young at heart, man. You know,
but young at heart. That's the way to do it, man.
I know Dirty D too. He's not a young buck either. He's getting up there. He's probably I'm guessing Dirty D, you're probably 38. Let's see what he says. Who has that first volley? Oh, I think they're asking about the
I don't even know. I don't even know if it's probably made its way to the trash can. I don't know, dude. It was bad, but I don't know. I think I got, no, maybe not my first one, my second or my third one, maybe. I got around here somewhere, but yeah, that thing's long gone. Thank God. Destroy the evidence.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Dirty D really quick because when I first started selling knives, you know, I live in California where they're illegal, and Dirty D, oh, he's 44. Okay. So I'm going to shout you out, Dirty D. You know, I was asking him about selling knives and stuff because I was interested in doing that. And he gave me a lot of inspiration to just go for it and sell knives and make it work. And just seeing how he did things and how chill he was and how he runs his Instagram and just, yeah, Dirty D is a really good dude, man. I wanted to
Yeah, I know. I definitely know
make
Dirty
it
D.
live and known. Yeah.
I think he lies about his age, though.
Yeah. What else we got here? Let's see. Hit us up with some questions, guys. We covered a lot, man. We got a lot.
Yeah, we went over a lot, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't rant too bad, did I?
What's that?
I said I didn't rant too bad at any point, did I?
No, man, you were fine. You were fine.
I can be a cranky little bitch at times, I'll admit it.
As we all can be.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Well, shit, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I super appreciate it. I don't know what else to say. I think you know that, you know, I wouldn't have asked you to do this if I wasn't 100% stoked about it. I think I was asking you before to do like an interview for my review as well, and that never happened. So doing this live thing is a cool way to just trap you into actually answering questions.
I'm all over the place, man. I got a million things going on, but you know, I'll always make time for you, man. I appreciate much love for sure. I appreciate what you're doing, and it's only positive stuff for the community, man. Anybody who's doing something positive for the community, I'm all about it. So
yeah, I'm just having fun with it, man. Having a good time, you know, for sure.
that's what it's all about, man. You're gonna be at the Blade Show, right?
Oh,
Atlanta?
Yeah, I'll be at the Cerrone booth, so come over to the Cerrone booth.
Is Cerrone gonna be there, or?
It just depends on the pandemic and stuff. He might.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, dude. Awesome. Well, dude, I'll definitely see you there. I'll definitely swing by and make sure I say hi. And,
yeah, please do. We'll find each other. Keep kicking ass, bros, and do scoop up Reaper too. Yeah, I already got my Reaper. I love it. The Black Balisong Reaper. Have you seen that? Here. Look at it. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that Dirty D. He moves the Black Valley songs, right?
Yep, he
So
does Black Balisong stuff.
Yeah. That's I got one off my one point. Yeah, the Reaper's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's a good knife for sure. I like Black Balisong stuff. And Nick, man, make it out to Blade Show so I can meet you in person as well.
Yeah, Nick, get your ass to the show. What the hell? We'll pitch in. We'll do a GoFund Nick's ticket.
That's right.
You'll have no excuse because we're gonna get free ride.
We'll drive out there. I'll go pick him up and drive his ass.
I know, dude. You're right there. Hide him in your luggage or something, dude.
He's pretty far up there. He, you know, that's
he is,
8 or 9 hour drive.
Yeah, I forget how big California is. Yeah, you guys could be really far apart. Both being Cali, right? Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I guess we'll just cut it here, and thank you again. And I'll post this, and I'll be in touch to bug you about getting a knife.
Yeah, definitely do it, man. We'll work it out. Definitely hit me up, man. Don't be shy.
All right, man. Thank you again. Let's see. All right, I appreciate it, man.
All right, much love, man. Everybody have a good night.
We'll talk soon. Take care,
brother.
Later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later, man.